everybody. Welcome into another edition of Talking Fitchburg. It is Friday, May 8th, 2020. Hope you had a wonderful day today as we go into this Friday night and into the weekend. It's been another crazy week here at Fact TV, and I hope wherever you are, you stayed safe this week and made it through another work week as we move into the weekend. Cold temperatures moving in tonight. It's going to be a little bit rough out there. Talking to Andrew earlier, he's got all of his stuff. He covered up last night, then had to take it off, recover it up tonight, and yeah, he's ready for the weekend. And I got to do the same thing here tonight and make sure that my onions don't get totally destroyed. But I digress. By the way, I didn't pick some of my onions, and they came back. So, story of my life. That's the best thing when I don't have to plant at all. Hey, we got a busy show for you today. A lot to get to. Coming up, we'll talk about last night's fire. There's a structure fire in the city of Fitchburg. We'll take you out to that fire scene and get some information on that front. We also want to talk with the chief today as well. We had actually planned this before yesterday's structure fire, but there's been an increase in fires. There were three major fires yesterday across the state of Wisconsin that I'm aware of. There could have been more. And we want to talk about fire danger today here in the headlines. So we've got that coming up. Also, we're going to talk about a new bird house. It's a swallow barn. It's going to be pretty cool. This is out at Burn Park here in Fitchburg. We're going to take you out and show you what some volunteers did creating this really cool structure, something you're going to want to go out and see. And hopefully the swallow birds will love that structure, but we'll find out. And then we check in with the Fitchburg Public Library. It's been a while. Tim and Lisa, they're here. They're back. And we'll find out what's going on over there. We know Tim. It's going to be something good. We just know it. All right, let's go ahead and get to your headlines. And we start with that fire. Residents displaced by an apartment fire last night, just after 8 last night. Fitchburg Fire Rescue, along with many fire departments across the area, responding to a structure fire. We met up with the chief last night at the fire scene, and he'll break it down for us right now.
Tonight at about 8:20 in the evening, we received a call for a structure fire. While en route, our vehicles were able to determine that there was a heavy amount of smoke coming from the Seminole area. So they didn't necessarily wait to arrive on scene to increase our coverage. We went ahead and raised our response level to a box alarm. With that, we were able to receive units from Verona, Oregon, Town of Madison, City of Madison. We had McFarland here, and I believe we had also Fitch Verona EMS and Fitchburg Police were here to assist us with not only making sure that we didn't necessarily have any injuries, but also to make sure that the area was cordoned off. And there is a heavy amount of fire damage in the garage area. We are obviously taking a look there, but we're looking throughout the unit right now just to figure out where we did have that cause, that origin, what most likely started this fire. With the amount of damage that was on the ground level, we did have smoke and fire damage that did, there was exposures to the upper floor. So yes, there's additional fire damage that was noted on the second floor. Yeah, both occupants are not going to be able to reside in this unit for a while. We have called Red Cross. They've been put in contact with the tenants, and at this point, it's up to their discretion if they want to use them. It's always reassuring to know that regardless of the incident, regardless of the state of emergency that we're in from a public safety and a public health perspective, we've got a pretty talented group of people here that are willing to step up, not only from the city of Fitchburg, but from our neighboring departments, our police department partners, and along with EMS. Tonight went very well. We can be very proud of those efforts, and we're grateful we could stop it where we did.
No injuries were reported at this fire. The cause is still unknown at this time, and damages are estimated to be in an excess of $200,000. And again, thank you to all of the fire departments helping out, police and EMS as well, for all of their great work. Turning our attention to home fires in the state of Wisconsin, with people spending more significant time in their homes due to the COVID-19 pandemic. There seems to be quite a few more structure fires that have been reported. Our Joe Polvemacher, we had sat down with earlier this week to discuss this topic and get some info into why this is happening.
Well, I mean, it sort of coincides with what we see every year when people are inside, do a lot more activities, either in close proximity with each other or just not being able to go outdoors. Is where when that activity happens, you have a tendency of seeing more things in the way of like cooking fires. There are still smoking related fires, cigarettes and those materials that involve smoking and the use of lighters and matches. So all of those things happen in greater quantity when the exposure is more significant, and that's what we have in this situation. We know nationwide there have been 855 civilian home fire deaths this year, and I'm sure that that statistic that I have isn't necessarily exactly up to date, but what it points to is the fact that, yeah, I mean, the threat is still there, and where this makes it even worse is now people are told, there's conflicting information. Go outside, group settings are wrong, but uh, in a fire situation, you're going to evacuate the building as fast as you can, and some of those social distancing things don't necessarily, well, they don't apply in a fire situation when you're trying to go from a high threat environment to a low threat environment. And we absolutely want to make sure that people are aware of the fact that they need to exit their homes during fire situations.
Yeah, as Chief also reminding folks too that as we go into the cold temperatures here the next couple of nights, make sure that you allow extra space around space heaters and never use gas powered generators inside the home or enclosed garage. But yeah, if you could take the steps while you're at home to prevent fires, certainly definitely a good time to put those procedures into practice. Sticking with fire, wildfire danger continues to be high. High winds, low humidity, and a little to no precip means that the fire danger conditions are going to continue into this weekend, even through next Tuesday, May 12th. We talked to Chief about wildfires during this time of year.
Yeah, we are still closely monitoring fire conditions, fire hazard conditions, and we go to the DNR for that. Anytime that the fire hazard is identified as being high, extremely high, or extreme, we are not going to be issuing anything in the way of burning permits. But our burning permits are still suspended at this point because the DNR is still suspending burning permits based on the stay-at-home order. That doesn't necessarily mean they don't happen at all. Control burns in the way of prairie restoration and those types of things are still happening because this is the time of year for it, and that's an educated public who is well versed in wildland firefighting that can take care of a problem. But other than that, yeah, we're trying to reduce that. The one thing that I will say, especially since people are somewhat confined, uh, obviously they can go outside, they can take walks, they can do those types of things, but a lot of people are staying at home or in home, and if neighbors are having things like campfires or small bonfires or even grilling for that matter, just be mindful of the smoke and where it's going. um, that is the type of thing that is extremely helpful when it comes to limiting the nuisance associated with fires. Um, you can always call the fire department to see if we have any burning bans going on, or if we're continuing the burning ban. We don't have a problem answering that. We'll let you know if we're issuing permits or not. And then we always advise that anybody who is participating in those types of activities, from a small heating or cooking fire close in neighborhoods, to be mindful and considerate so that you're not negatively impacting your neighbors.
Yeah, with the high winds and low humidity, just one spark could lead to a large and dangerous fire. So please, please, please use caution this weekend. And again, have that fire plan in place. All right, we'll take a quick break. Coming up next, we open up the digest and we're hitting the road, heading to Burn Park to learn about a new birdhouse. Well, we're calling it a bird farm. You'll learn more about that next right here on Talking Fitchburg. Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Transitioning now into our digest segment, and we are going to talk about barn swallows. They're pretty annoying when they're building their nests, as they make a lot of waste, and it's been a problem at one of our parks, Burn Park to be exact. And our Parks Commission, along with some great volunteers, have come up with a solution. Take a look.
On the Parks Commission, we needed to address the problem of barn swallows who like to nest in park shelters, which makes it a mess for picnickers who also want to use the park shelters. Barn swallows are notoriously messy birds. So we were looking for solutions that are in keeping with the idea of working with nature instead of fighting against it. Being a partnership, barn swallows are great at killing mosquitoes, so we wanted to hang on to them. Looking around, there are alternate structures that can be created to entice barn swallows to live in those structures. And what's going on here is 3 volunteers who are put together their own rendition of a barn swallow shelter, taken from plans that are created by the Department of Transportation in Ontario, Canada. The birds there are protected, and so any construction that would disrupt nesting areas, these types of structures have to go up a year in advance. So the idea is here and there, you put up a structure and let the family of birds just become familiar with it for a season. They're not likely or necessarily likely to come and nest immediately because they already nest where they want to nest. And we're going to allow our barn swallows to nest in the park shelter one more year, and the babies born this summer especially explore this area, and when the whole family comes back next year, they will not be able to get into those old nesting areas. That'll be blocked off. And then the idea is what we've had here for a year and they've gotten used to, they'll now accept and nest here in its place. For anyone who's familiar with an app called Nextdoor Fitchburg, Nextdoor is a corporation that owns or runs the app for communities all over the country, but there is a Nextdoor Fitchburg, and I had just posed a question there asking if there was anyone with carpentry skills who might volunteer to help put something like this together. And another woman on the app contacted me and suggested Ken behind me and Dan and Jean.
I got a call from Susan, and she knew a person in my neighborhood association named, I forgot Courtney's last name, but she asked Courtney and she gave my name because I've been doing lots of construction projects for the Indian Springs, Dane County Parks, and City of Madison Parks, all through the E-Way.
This is a first for them, so I think they were very interested in giving this a try, and perhaps they'll put it to use in other areas where they have long-standing commitments.
It's modified. Susan came up with the plans and we came up with the discussion. Originally this was a little bit smaller, but she did and had 8 boxes, and she did more research and thought that let's go with 6 boxes and make it a little bit wider. So we went with a 3-foot by 6-foot dimension. And then the roosting wire up there was an added feature that we added with the plans that she had. The 3 of us, Ken, Jean, and I, We spent last Sunday pretty much 6 hours fabricating it together, and then we finished it one Monday night, and then we brought it out here last night to do the final assembly. It's just that the weight of it is just very heavy, that we had to build it in stages. The hardest thing I would say would be getting it together in workable sizes that we could lift and move to get it out here. So it was always a discussion on how we're going to do it, and then once we get out here, we know we have no power, that battery power tools, we'd be able to do the final assembly.
This is a wood nest cup. There's a company in Massachusetts called American Artifacts that makes these, and we chose to use them. It's not necessary. You can put just a little wood ledge inside of each of the nesting boxes behind me in this structure, but we wanted to really have this work, and these are sometimes selected as the nesting site because 3/4 of the work is done for them already. They just put a little mud ledge across the top instead of having to build the entire nest out of mud. I had read it takes 15 hours for them to build a nest from scratch, and we were joking that they've only got a few hours of work here to top it off. So there are 6 of these in the structure behind us. The inside of that structure is divided into 6 components or 6 compartments. There's going to be perching wires strung across the top of the roof because these birds do like to perch. You may have seen them if you drive by a farm field, and you'll see a lot of birds perched all a line along a metal or wire farm fence. That might very well be swallows. So that is another amenity added by this group, and these fellows so kindly volunteered to put this together. We're very grateful to them.
It should last. We upgraded it with the design. I decided to go with the cedar shake singles. The original plan the cedar shake siding is what I added to it to give it a little better. A lot of the wood is made out of cedar, but also I made the decision to go with a green roof, which saved on a little bit of money, which matched the shelter here.
You know, we all have our fingers crossed because they'll do what they want to do. The fellow who lives right behind this retention pond area has been having one little brood living underneath his deck for years. Fellow on the other side of the park, they hang around his barn. So they've been in the area and trying to consume mosquitoes and do what they do for a long time. And we just don't want them chased off by keeping them out of the park shelter. This is really, I am so pleased. You know, almost any time anyone has a wouldn't it be nice idea, it's really hard to have everything fall into place the way this did. I can't tell you how nice it is to know that it's just starting as a discussion in January to now it's just very early May and it's ready to go. It's especially when you're working on a commission or committee, you're getting the approval, trying to gain the approval of everybody on the committee, get the funds. There were some donated funds, but mostly it's city tax money paying for the materials here. To line that all up and have it turn out feels great.
I'm very happy and relieved, and it feels a great accomplishment that we had fun building it. We had fun able to modify a little bit of stuff, and between the 3 of us, it was a wonderful working experience.
I'm just looking forward to stopping by every couple weeks and seeing what's happening. Maybe we'll have some inhabitants this spring. It's not likely, but because they've got a lot of good digs around here anyway. But definitely checking, and I think a lot of the neighbors want to follow through and see what happens this year and next.
All right, there you have it. Head on to Burn Park and check it out. It's a pretty cool structure. More to come on Talking Fitchburg. We check them at the library. That's next, right here on TF.
It's all of our responsibility to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. You can still use your outdoor spaces like yards and decks. It's also okay to go for a walk or exercise outside. Wear a cloth face covering, stay at least 6 feet away from other people, try not to touch any surfaces, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Welcome back to Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today, are you in for a treat? I've got Tim and Lisa from the Fitchburg Public Library here today via remote. Tim, we're not even going to guess where Tim is, but Lisa, I love the hat. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you doing, Jeremy?
It's been a while, and I'm feeling like you didn't send me a memo here about hat day or pajama day. My first follow-up question to that question is, Tim, when's the last time you washed the cape and suit there?
See, it's been a while. I've been so busy flying around doing superhero things and saving people. Like, man, not people, more like cats and chipmunks and stuff like that. But I'm working my way up. Yeah.
And Lisa,
Yes?
Tell me about the hat. Tell me about the hat quick.
I just figured I'd dress up for you guys.
Aw, you're just so
Yeah.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's...
Jeremy, did you know that since the last time I wore this on Fact TV, I haven't taken it off? That's what yes.
He has to be ready to go at any moment.
Any moment.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give a call to the library director after this to ask some questions. But until then, we'll just roll along here. Let's get things kicked off here. Certainly, as of this interview today, library still closed with COVID-19 pandemic. Tell me, what are some things that we have going on here with the library?
Sure. Yeah. Lisa, would you like to go first?
I can take that on. So, unfortunately, we are still closed, but we have a lot of online resources for you guys if you just go to our website. We've actually been collecting a lot of resources, so we even have a page now for boredom busters. So you can access lots of things directly from there. So we have the digital library, so Wisconsin's digital library. There's been a lot more money and funding going into that now, so there's a lot more items to check out. We have a Lucky Day collection, so you don't even have to wait to check out stuff anymore. So we've been doing a lot of stuff with the online library. We even now, if you have time on your hands, so we have Ancestry Library that you can access from home now. It used to be you could only do it through the library, so you can start doing some genealogy research if you have some time on your hands.
Oh boy. Well, I kind of want to know where Tim's from officially, but I'll save that for a rainy day.
There you go.
There's a certain planet. Don't you know what it is? When was the last time you watched my show?
Yeah, I'm speechless, Tim. Tim, what do you have to share with us?
Well, what we have going on right now is we just started actually this week doing some like online programming we're shooting videos, kind of like this cool video here, and then posting them to our Facebook account with the library. So we have some story times starting up this week and happening. I think our first one was on Monday. We also have a read aloud going where someone is reading a book, and we're going to do a few chapters a day. I think like every other day, 3 times a week or so. What was yesterday? Somebody posted a video about, was it hot cocoa or no?
It was mug cakes.
Mud cakes, that's right.
Oh.
Oh, it's like a professional video. I was like, what is this amazing video? I want to make one now. And then today we have Play-Doh, how to make your own Play-Doh at home, which should be up and running will be up and running at 9 o'clock. I guess it's still a little early in Superman time here. And then, tomorrow we have our lap sit story time that's going to air. And then also we have another one on Friday that's going to be for crafts. So we do story times a couple times a week, crafts a few times a week, a read aloud. I wanted to mention, to be part of the story times, I think you specifically join our Read Together at Home Facebook group on our page. And then you just click on that to join, and Lisa here will use her magic powers to say okay, and you are accepted, and you can go in anytime and watch a cool video. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of funky not being able to do programs for a little while. So back to it, especially since the library is still closed and we want to reach out to the patrons out there. I know Adult Services is working on some videos as well, and we'll be posting those in the near future. But other than that, then we've also been working hard, Lisa and we have a group and myself at the library that have been working on planning summer reading because we still want to do that. So this year we have a software that we're using, an app that for your phone, or you can do it on your computer, called Beanstack, so that people can track from home and they don't need to come in and get a paper copy and stop at the desk every day and check their reading time and stuff like that. It's something that they can do at home and then stop in when they feel like they have the time, when we're back open to the public. And it's a really cool app. What basically happens is from June 1st to August 8th, we'll have summer reading going. So Monday, June 1st to August 8th, I think it's a Saturday. You just go to Beanstack and you can log in to participate with one of our reading challenges where you can earn badges, which are really cool. Kids love earning badges for the amount of reading that they do. And then along the way, there'll be spots where your badge also pops up and says, you have earned a prize. Stop at the library and collect your prize.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So you can register as an individual. So an adult can just register themselves if they wanted to, or you can register your whole family if you wanted to as well. And then that way you can track all of your summer reading in one location. We hope to eventually open this up and use it for 1,000 books before kindergarten and also for our winter reading program. But right now we're focused on getting summer reading going.
Well, that is good to hear that program's going to continue on. I know it's a big thing for the summer. And I know usually there's activities to follow, and obviously given the times, we don't know what direction that's going to go, but best part is we'll keep having both of you on and others from the library so you can share with us upcoming events and other fun things going on. All right, in the last minute of time, do you guys have anything else to share with us?
This is my cape. It's pretty awesome. I know you want one.
Lisa, I'm so sorry that you have to be here as part of
this. I'm enjoying the show. Don't worry.
Yeah, you and I both. Yeah, that's exactly.
Just want to say we miss coming in and seeing everybody, and and thought we'd wear our stuff because get back to our normal Fact TV shenanigans. Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. It doesn't feel right not having you guys in studio here, and yeah, we've missed you. But thank you so much for taking the time, and stay safe out there. And we'll look forward to having you guys back on next month.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks for having us.
That is that's the Fitchburg Public Library. No, he didn't just do that. Fitchburg Public Library. Make sure you check out the website, Facebook page, and that new group to join in on all the fun activities. Take a quick break. You are watching Talking Fitchburg. Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for today, I want to thank Sue from the Parks Commission for inviting us out on the story, and Fitchburg Public Library as well for checking in with us. Stay connected with Fact TV all weekend long. You know where to go. We'll be back here Monday with a TF update starting at 9 a.m. and Talking Fitchburg at 6 p.m. Have a great weekend, everybody.